Look at all this stuff. Had this stuff laying around for a while actually, and this is all for my 280Z. I pretty much got all the stuff when I bought the car, but I just never got around to putting it on because I wanted to rebuild the whole engine. But now, I guess I don't really have a car right now because I broke the headlight on my Skyline, and that's gonna take a month to get here. And then the MR2 doesn't have an engine, so I kind of need a car to drive around. So this is why I'm doing all this stuff now. So let's go over all this stuff real quick. So let's start off with this. This is an N42 intake manifold. It is non-webbed, so there's no metal in between here, and it's also a non-EGR, so it just cleans things up real nicely. Whereas on my car, it has the EGR, and I think it's also webbed too. And this is for an N42 head, same as this exhaust manifold. This is a motorsport one. It's been, I forget what you call this coating, like jet coated or something. And this has the square ports. So that's also for an N42 head. This is a Z-Story muffler. You can see it's got the 432 style vertical slant. This is my ECU kit. I'll go over all that in detail later on, but it's basically a standalone for the Z. And then this is all the sensors that goes with it. And I can't get in here, but my exhaust system is somewhere in there. I don't know, there's some more Z stuff. Yeah, I gotta get through all this stuff. There's way too much stuff going on here. Okay, look at that. 2 Z's, huh? It's kind of funny. I never thought I'd own a Z car. So, let's look inside the engine bay. Man, so dirty in here. But anyways, so this is an N47 head, and apparently it's not like the performance version, whereas the N42 is. So I actually have a whole N42 head sitting at the shop. Now here's that intake manifold. See, this is the EGR, and then it's also webbed too. So it's got the the metal pieces in between the runners. So I guess my goal for today is I want to pull off the head and go from there, I guess. So if you guys remember a few videos ago, I think we were going to Nissan Fest, and I was gonna drive the 280Z, but my fuel injection ECU was starting to crap out. And kicking it usually helps, but it didn't help this time. So, and that's actually the reason why I don't drive the Z, because I never know when it's gonna not work. So, I mean, it's been working great recently, but I can't trust that. And that's why I got this ECU kit. And the main thing is I had to change out the head so that I can put all the stuff on, because I bought all the stuff for the N42 head, and that's why I just haven't done it yet. So hopefully we can get that all done today. Alright, Z is in the garage. Now here's the engine bay. Where should I even start? I guess I'm just gonna start unplugging everything. Like, a lot of this stuff isn't going to be used, so basically pull everything I see and then pull the intake and then the exhaust. Okay, I got the harness out of the way. Still looks like a mess. Well, now I'm gonna take off this fuel rail. One bolt here, one there, and then all these little Phillips on the injectors, and then the rail should just slide up, and then I can just tuck it over there. Alright, fuel rail out. Should probably move that battery. But there's the fuel rail. And now I have access to these top bolts for the intake manifold. These things. So now this is where things get a little bit tricky. The top part is easy. There's just the 4 bolts here. But then on the bottom side, if you look at my new intake, there's no holes anywhere. But there's actually this little indents here, and it's like a big washer, and it shares it with the exhaust manifold and the intake. So those are the same bolts. So I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 bolts underneath, and probably a couple little brackets here and there. But that's gonna be hard to pull off because I literally can't see it on there. I gotta go by feel. Okay, everything on the intake should be loose now. Let's see if it comes out. Yes. What is this? Oh, geez. Alright, I guess the intake's out. Alright, let's compare these 2 intakes. So this is the N47, and that's the one I just took out of the car. And this is an N42. So already you can tell that this is like way bigger. Well, it looks bigger because it has these webs here, whereas this one doesn't. And then also this one has the EGR on it, and this one doesn't. I think the ports, yeah, the ports look the same. Now with the intake out of the way, we can take off this exhaust manifold. These are the bolts that's shared with the exhaust and the intake manifold. So now there's just a few more. So there's like 3 on here, and I think 1 on there. And then this one should have been there, but that was broken. And that's why I had this big exhaust leak here. So yeah, let's get those out, and then that should be it. Okay, so it's been a couple of days, and I did get the entire exhaust system off. But now this is where I'm gonna stop, because when I looked at the N42 head at the shop, it has a bent valve on it, so I can't just slap it on and be good to go. And that was my original plan. So now I gotta get that head rebuilt, and while I'm in there, you know, I might also do some upgrades too. And then if I'm already pulling the head off, I thought to myself, like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and do the block too. And then from there I was like, okay, if I'm doing the whole engine, then I gotta do the whole engine bay, which means painting all this stuff, and it all just snowballed from there. So that's the plan now. Gonna fully rebuild the engine, paint the engine bay, and hopefully be ready, I don't know, I want to say March. That's like 2 or 3 months from now. So yeah, I want to drive this car for the spring and summer. So yeah, that's where I'm headed now. I totally did not plan to do the Z right now. I was gonna do that next winter. So I might be putting off the K20 MR2 for a little bit, but it shouldn't be too far off. I'll probably do that probably in the summertime. But for now, I will be working on the Z. This car should not be sitting. Yep. Yes, it's just crazy how things snowballed really fast. So the bad news for me is I gotta spend a lot more money, and the good news is this thing's gonna be sick. At least I hope so. So make sure you guys stick around. Probably the next video, I will be pulling this engine out and getting the engine bay prepped for paint and all that. So stay tuned. See you guys.